I have a question for you. If I was going to talk about thinking original ideas, can I look for inspiration? This video is in partnership with Sublime. They kindly gifted me the premium subscription, and boy, am I obsessed. More about them later. Back to the question. If I was going to talk about thinking original ideas, can I look for inspiration? There are only two ways about it, yes or no. No, because obviously, if you're going to talk about thinking originally, why are you seeking inspiration? That's not original, that's inspired. Or yes, because everything has already been said, thought of, just not by you. So, your perspective, a collection of your thoughts swung into a garland of your own identity. That's what makes it original. So, I made this video recently on Instagram talking about what makes you an interesting person. Essentially, saying you don't become interesting by trying to sound interesting because that energy is so easy to catch on. Instead, you become interesting by building something, building a life that actually gives you something to say. So, if you want to have original ideas, look at what interests you on days when you're bored, on weekends when you don't have to go to work, or the food is cooked and you don't feel like watching TV because you're too aware of it. What do you think about? For me, that's spirituality and quantum physics. Nothing new, really. Many people think about those two schools of thoughts altogether. So, what makes my thoughts original? My perception, my ability to look at them and build a connection, and my ability to hold two mutually exclusive thoughts together. That's what makes it original. What you do in private shows up in public. I don't remember where I first read this, but I always looked at this quote from physical capacity. If you eat healthy, you show up with energy. If you work out, you show up with physical strength. But that also goes for intellect. If you read, you learn about different perspectives. You build your capacity to hold all these different perspectives together. If you don't read, you never did, then you stick to whatever you learned in your childhood and in your coping mechanisms. And this brings me to believing two things. One, thinking original is not about being unbelievably brilliant and having everything figured out. It's about being able to articulate different ideas and find a correlation between them. Because, in fact, everything is connected: fashion and recession, art and politics, survival and capitalism. And two, it was more of a personal realization about myself, the ability to hold contradictory thoughts. For example, the future is predetermined by a chain of cause and effect, and we as humans possess the total free will and the ability to make unconstrained choices that change the timeline of our reality. A much simpler example can be you don't want to work a day in your life, but you can still be so passionate about building your business. When I'm thinking about such contradictory beliefs I hold in myself, it reminds me of Chetty from A Good Place. And if you haven't watched that show, here's my recommendation. I believe good films, books, music, and art, they find you, not the other way around. And on that note, and because we live in this age of internet, just like you, I too have a full scattered library of recipes, movies, I want to watch, and prompts that I want to write about, and quotes that I love, and all those collections that will never see a day in light. I got myself Sublime, a digital gardening tool that allows you to capture ideas, photos, videos from all over the internet and build a sort of a mind map. Especially if you're creative like me, you can curate your own canvases, pulling out ideas from Substacks or Instagram. And you can use it for any of your creative endeavors. It is essentially an endless whiteboard waiting for your creativity to find place and gain some structure. You can use the link in the description to get 15% off at the checkout. Talking about original ideas, I read this quote on Pinterest. It's not about where you take things from, it's about where you take things to. Kind of a tongue twister for me. Originality is a myth. If it inspires you, steal it. Just be sure it speaks to your soul. Your theft becomes authentic. Authenticity is priceless. Originality is bullshit. So what if your book is inspired from a story that you read when you were a teenager? So what? There is already a company established that has the same product that you are building. There are so many of those. There's so many. Uh, there's so many. Come on. Come. Oh. The thing is that it hasn't been done by you. where you take your ideas is the original destination of the train. And I think we shame ourselves into, I've only copied another painter's painting before. I'm not an artist. I don't know how to do it. You know what my teacher in high school used to say? You really need brains to even cheat or steal. And I'm not saying to steal, like copy exactly the same. Make it your own. Bring your soul into that idea and build it from there. Take it from within. And especially when you're just starting out, do you really, in your heart of your heart, believe that Bob Ross or Mary Cassatt never copied a drawing when they first learned how to hold a paintbrush? If nothing, they copied nature. It is still inspired. Nothing has ever been original then. So you have been just beating yourself up for nothing as well. Because, like the quote said, originality is bullshit. Well, now that we have covered the basics of this idea, let's get to how to be, well, original? No, authentic with your own thoughts. Number one, think before you check the reviews. Oh my God, I consciously do this so often, like my life depends on it. I think most of my life I've been told how to feel, what to do, especially in the emotional dynamic of my life, that I never realized what I actually like or want. And I used to be this person to be like, oh my God, I really like that movie when I genuinely did not like it. Or the other way around. It is so easy to get influenced by other people's opinion that we forget to know what we actually believe in. All this social media noise. It definitely gets difficult. So before I go for a movie review on Letterboxd, I definitely make my own mind about, did I like this film? Do I like the story? And this is not about movies. This is not about movies. Spend time with yourself. Sit with yourself with no distractions. And I cannot stress this enough. The more you do that, the more you learn about yourself, what you believe in, how you actually feel about a situation or a person or a thing or just apples. I believe it in my heart, it is true for everyone, but especially for the creatives. People need to sit around and do nothing. And that is this freedom I strive for. And I think I recently came across this concept of internal values versus external values. And I can make a whole video about it if you want me to. I don't take the credit for this idea. I do not remember who it was, but I can definitely look it up again and make a video. Let me know. Number 3, stop shaming yourself and let yourself be bad at things. The art of creating something, whether it's a thought or a painting, the art of creating something is way more important than the result. We shame ourselves into striving for perfection from the get go, but that's not where growth resides. So let me tell you this very, very silly incident. So recently I went to a park to read my book and lay in the sun because why not? And I had my iPad with me, and there was this tree in front of me. And trust me when I say that I suck at painting trees. I'm really bad at it. So I told myself I don't want to paint the tree because I'm really bad at it. But then something switched, and I was like, no, I'll give myself the permission to be bad at it. And I quite literally verbally, and I mean genuinely mean it. The words actually came out of my mouth in sound energy, and I said, I give you the permission to be bad at it. Switch flipped. I did make the painting. It is absolutely shit. It does not look good, but I made it. And I'm happy about it. And I'm proud of myself. Give yourself the permission to be bad at things. It is important to be bad at things. Just don't be a bad person. To whoever this video reaches, I hope it resonated with you and helped you in a small possible way. And as always, check out the free 5-question PDF down below to unstuck your thoughts. And if you feel like reading more about my work, feel free to check out Substack. Until next time.